General may convey the message of condolences to the bereaved family.
Yes, sir.
Honorable Prime Minister to introduce new ministers.
Mr. Speaker, sir, it is my pleasure to introduce to you and through you to the House my colleagues, the new ministers, Ms. Binsi Baby, Minister of Statistics and Program Implementation, and Ms. Kruba K. Yeshudasan, Minister of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship.
Now the question hour begins. Question number 101. Honorable Member Sonu Sara, please.
Mr. Speaker, sir, question 101. Will the Minister of External Affairs be pleased to state A. Whether China has intruded in the territory of India in recent past? If so, the details, therefore. B. Whether the government is aware of the negative role played by China in rejecting India's request for membership in nuclear group. If so, what is the government? How they take aware of this? Chinese opposition. C. Did the government proposes to review its foreign policy with China?
Honorable Minister of External Affairs, please.
Honorable Speaker, sir, at least 250 soldiers of China's People's Liberation Army reportedly spent 3 hours in Yan State, in Arunachal Pradesh East Kamen district on June 9, 2016. There have been several incidents of transgression by the PLA into Indian territory as China claims several regions along the line of actual control as its own. The Chinese army has entered inside Indian territory at least 228 times in 2010, 213 in 2011, 426 in 2012, 411 in 2013, and 334 up to August 4, 2014. B. China appears to be taking this stand on behalf of Pakistan, which has also applied for a membership in NSD. China is free to lobby for its client state's membership, but it may be noted that NSD membership will not have any substantive impact on India, because India is already able to engage in full civil cooperation with all the NSD member states, thanks to the clear waiver we obtained in September 2008 from the group's restrictive guidelines. C. Despite increases in our relations with China in political and economic fronts, tensions still remain with China over the 4,057-kilometer border over Arunachal Pradesh and over the Aksai region to the western end of Tibetan Plateau. But the government assures the House that we are watching all developments related to national security very closely and will leave no steps unturned in protecting our nation's security and interest.
Honorable Member, your supplementary question.
Sir, I want to know whether this government offered its support for China in the South China Sea issue as a quid pro quo for possible Chinese support for India on NSD issue when the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi visited India on 12th August 2016.
Thank you. Honorable Minister of External Affairs, please.
Sir, the Chinese Foreign Minister did meet me and Prime Minister, but it was in connection with the BRICS summit to be held in Goa in October 2016. The discussions were very cordial. India did not bring up either the South China Sea debate or the NSD issue because we want to create a good atmosphere for economic cooperation, which includes the reduction of tariffs on made in India products exported to China amid the ongoing free trade talk known as Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. India and China are good economic partners, and we want to maintain this relation in the future also and would prefer to let go of the minor issues right now.
Are there any requests for supplementaries? Honorable Member Sri Wasim Jaffer, please.
Mr. Speaker, sir, Honorable Minister is saying that India's membership in NSG is not very significant. It is already very clear that the relationship between China and Pakistan is so strong. We wrongly believe that by not opposing the Pakistan's entry to NSG, we would be able to get Chinese support.
Honorable Member, please come to your question, please.
So, is it a foreign policy failure that the government was not able to force the Chinese action?
Honorable Minister, please.
So we did get the consent of 38 members out of 48 members. 38, and that is saying something. Since decision is taken unanimously in the NSD, we needed the support of 10 more countries including Austria, Brazil, Ireland and Switzerland. India got an exception in September 2008 and through it we got access to all the technologies associated with NSD. As I have have mentioned in the very beginning, India's current attempt has been to replace this exception with a permanent membership in NSG without signing the NPT.
Thank you. Next question, question number 102. Honorable Member Megha Malik, please.
Mr. Speaker, sir, question number 102. Will the Minister of Agriculture and Farmers' Welfare be pleased to state? A. How many farmers committed suicide in the year 2015 and 2016? B. Is it due to low growth rate in the agrarian sector? And if so, C. The measures taken by the government for improving growth rate in the agrarian sector.
Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Farmers' Welfare, please.
Honorable Speaker, sir, question number 102A. 116 farmers have committed suicide due to agrarian distress so far in 2016 in states like Maharashtra, Punjab and Telangana. And it's a sad fact that more than 2,000 farmer suicide cases were reported in 2015 with maximum cases in Maharashtra alone. Speaker, sir, for the sub-question B, the answer is no. Agrarian reasons are not the only reason for the increased number of farmer suicide in India. According to the NCRB report, only 19% are due to agrarian reasons and the rest 22.3 are due to bankruptcy and again 22.8% are due to family problems. Speaker, sir, according to C, the GDP from agriculture in India has decreased from rupees 5,132.9 billion to rupees 4,235 billion in the first quarter of 2015. In order to cope with such a situation, this government has implemented schemes like Pradhan Mantri Krishi Yojana, in which more than 2.85 million hectares of land will be irrigated. High quality seeds, low price fertilizers and mechanical equipment are given to farmers with subsidies. In addition to that, we are giving high priority to the river interlinking project and is being monitored on a weekly basis. I hope you know that this government has increased the minimum support price of rubber from rupees 150 to 175.
Honorable Member, your supplementary question.
Sir, I have no supplementary question.
Are there any requests for supplementaries? Sri Amrit Singhania, please.
Sir, you have mentioned that government is going ahead with river interlinking project. I want to know from the Honourable Minister, is the estimate cost of such a disastrous project and how the government will address its environmental issues.
Honorable Minister, please.
Honorable Speaker, sir, the river interlinking project in India will cost the government rupees 10 billion and this project involves 15,000 kilometers of new canals to relocate 174 BCM of water. And an expert committee has been set up to constantly monitor the environmental impact of such a huge project.
Are there any requests for supplementaries? Okay. Haidar Gopal, please.
Sir, as we all know, water is an important element for the farmers for their successful farm. But still in our country, they are facing a scarcity. So, I want to know from the minister whether the government is looking at alternate strategies to solve this water scarcity issue of farmers.
Speaker, sir, I want to inform you and the entire House that our government is deeply concerned in ensuring farmers' welfare. And we will consider all options in protecting their interests and to increase the agricultural growth rate in India. For that, the government is implementing alternative strategies like efficient utilization of existing water resources, encouraging drip irrigation, and by cultivating crops according to the climate. We are also implementing new strategic options for rainwater harvesting, recycled use of water, and for wastewater management, and are being introduced on a national scale.
Thank you. Next, question number 103. Honorable Member Ms. Asta Chauhan, please.
Honorable Speaker, sir, question number 103. Will the Minister of Human Resource Development be pleased to state A. The dropout percent of private students from schools, and B. Is it higher than general, the dropout levels in the country, and C. If yes, what are the reasons?
Honorable Minister of Human Resource Development, Srimati Marin Mariam, please.
Honorable Speaker, sir, A and B, the latest data is available for 2013 and 2014. In that year,
145 lakh students belonging to the scheduled tribes enrolled at elementary level, and 64 lakh were enrolled at upper primary. During this period, more than half of the tribal students enrolled at elementary level and drop out school before reaching their upper primary class. The tribal dropout rate is much higher than the general dropout rate, and it's a fact. The gender-wise general dropout rate in 2013-2014 is 39% boys, 39% boys, and 33% were dropped out before completing their elementary education. The government has seriously noticed this issue and has identified the major reasons for this high dropout rate. According to the reports, the major reasons for these high dropout rates are fear, lack of convenience, and reluctance to come out of their comfort zones.
Honorable Member, your supplementary question?
Sir, I have no supplementary.
Are there any requests for supplementaries? Sri Amar Singhania, please.
Sir, the nation wants to know what the government is doing for the education of tribals and preventing dropouts.
Minister to respond.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I want to inform the entire House that this government has accorded high priority for the welfare of tribal community. The government has sanctioned more primary and secondary schools all over Indian tribal areas. The government has developed curricula and instructional material in all available tribal languages. We are promising encouraging tribal youth to take up teaching in tribal areas, keeping in view their special needs and lifestyles. Incentives are given to tribal students and also for their parents. From these facts, every educated citizen of this great nation has realized how the ministry is deeply concerned for the educational upliftment of tribal community.
Are there any requests for supplementaries? Honorable Member Naina Goral, please.
Honorable Speaker, sir, sometimes tribal education may result in destruction of tribal culture and their extinction. So I would like to know from the Minister how the government is going to preserve tribal culture while providing the modern education.
Honorable Minister.
Honorable Speaker, sir, as the Minister of Human Resource Development in this democratic country, without any doubt I can say that this government will not disturb the tribal culture. There are special laws to provide tribal culture and the government will ensure its implementation. Government's policy is to provide them better education so that they are not exploited in their own country. Government believes that through proper education, insurgency in tribal dominated regions like West Bengal, Bihar, Chhattisgarh and Northeast states can be brought under control.
Thank you. No more supplementaries. Next, question number 104. Honorable Member Sri Rishi Malhotra, please.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment is pleased to state that whether any recent surveys has been conducted regarding the number of transgender people in India, whether the government is aware of the discrimination faced by these transgender people, and if so, what the government is doing for the protection of constitutional rights of these transgenders.
Honorable Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment, please.
Honorable Speaker, sir, question number 104 A, B and C. According to the 2015-16 survey, we have been able to ascertain that India has a population of 6 lakh people belonging to the transgender community. Yes, the government is aware of the discrimination faced by them and we have moved several legislations to protect their interests. First, the government has granted them the status of a third gender. Second, the Supreme Court has granted them the equal protection of rights under Articles 14, 15 and 16, which prohibits discrimination on the basis of gender identity. Legislation is also underway which provides for stringent punishment for those who harass transgenders.
Sri Rishi Malhotra, your supplementary question.
Sir, I would like to know from the Minister what the government is doing to change the attitude of the people towards transgenders.
Honorable Minister, please.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I would just like to point out that the attitude of the people cannot be changed through legislation. It is ingrained in them through generations. But this government will ensure that transgenders are no longer marginalized through awareness programs, campaigns, seminars,
etc. We have appointed a special officer with IAS rank to deal with transgenders and to represent their very specific concerns to the government. They have been granted the right to vote like every other citizen. Even talks to grant them reservation are going on.
Before we end, we'll take one more question on this. Are there any requests for supplementaries? Honorable Member Srimati Kaveri Misra, please.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I would like to know whether the government has formulated any policies for securing jobs for transgenders.
Honorable Minister, please.
Speaker, sir, I would first like to thank the Honourable Member for bringing to the attention of this House a very pressing concern. Yes, the government is aware of this and we have taken action. We have formulated an expert committee and we are expecting their results and recommendations very soon. I can assure you that a speedy decision will be taken on this matter.
Thank you. Now the question hour ends. Srimati Sai Chatur, please.
Madam, a serious breach of privilege has been committed by a leading newspaper of Kerala, which has provided an inaccurate account of the proceedings of the House, which is a sheer breach of privilege. The paper has dishonest motives, and so I request you to allow me to raise a question on that matter now.
Honourable Member, have you served the notice? You may give due notice along with a copy of the newspaper cutting and I shall consider it.
Yes, madam, I have given the notice at 10 o'clock today.
It will be examined when it comes to me. I shall consider it and let you know my decision. Now, papers to be laid. Minister for Defence, please.
Madam Speaker, I beg to lay on the table a copy each of the following papers in the English version. The National Credit Corps Amendment Rules 2016, published in notification number GSR 18 in Weekly Gazette of India, dated 7 May 2016. The National Credit Corps Constitution Amendment Rules 2016, published in notification number GSR 19 in Weekly Gazette of India, dated 7 May 2016. And Memorandum of Understanding between the Hindustan Aeronautic Limited and the Ministry of Defence of the year 2016 to 2017.
Secretary General to report message from Upper Chamber of Youth Parliament.
Madam, I have to report the following message received from the Secretary of the Upper Chamber of the Youth Parliament. In accordance with the provision of rules of procedure and conduct of business in the Upper House of the Youth Parliament, I am directed to enclose a copy of the Maintenance of Standard and Autonomy in Higher Education Institution 2016 Bill, as passed by the Upper Chamber at its sitting held on 10 June 2016.
Secretary to lay on the table a copy of the bill as passed by the Upper Chamber.
Madam, I lay on the table of the House the Maintenance of Standard and Autonomy in Higher Education Institution Bill 2016 as passed by the Upper Chamber.
Honourable members, I have to make an announcement. On my own behalf of the honourable members of the House, I have great pleasure in extending our warm welcome to the Great Britain Parliamentary Delegation, who is on a visit to India as honoured guest. The honourable members of the delegation are Mr. T.V. Eric and Ms. Alpina Wilson. It is a very high-powered delegation. The delegation arrived on Sunday, 4th September 2016. They are now seated in the special box. We wish them a happy and peaceful stay in our country. We also convey our warm greetings and very best wishes through them to Her Majesty the Queen of Britain, the Prime Minister, the Britain Parliament, the government and the friendly people of Britain. Now the 0 hour commences. Honourable Member Dak Chandelier, please.
Honourable Madam Speaker, I want to raise a very important matter. In Indian villages, that is 69% of the population is not having access to emergency medical services. They have no ambulance facility to reach hospital. Often, the golden hour and the platinum 10 minutes are lost due to the lack of emergency medical services. Madam, so many lives could be saved by providing ambulance facility to these rural poor Indian people. Sir, I want to know what steps have been taken by this government to provide emergency ambulance facility to the rural poor people of India.
Honorable Leader of Opposition, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, hasn't the minister yet noticed a tribal man carrying the dead body of his wife slung on his shoulder through 10 kilometers last week? What steps the government has taken to...
It's up to the state government.
Please keep the cars of the house. Let her complete.
What steps the government has taken to ensure GPS navigated ambulance services?
Ma'am, this all is a riot.
Please keep the cars. Let her finish.
Please let me complete. I want to say to the honorable members, this is not a issue of a state. It's an issue of national concern. Madam, this pathetic situation is nothing other than the ignorance and irresponsibility of the government. It is nothing other than the irresponsibility of this government. Why should such a government exist? Not carrying the rural core of India.
Please keep the order of the house. Honorable Minister of Parliamentary Affairs.
Honorable Madam, the concerned minister is not present here. I will convey this matter to the minister and will take action.
Now let us take up the calling attention motion. Sri Keshav Iyer, please call the attention of the minister.
Honorable Madam Speaker, I beg you to call the attention of the Minister of Home Affairs to the precarious situation created in Kashmir after the death of Burhan Wani and the terrorist activities in the valley.
Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, please.
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, हमारे मंत्रालय इस देश से सभी प्रकार के आतंकवाद को मिटाने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है। खुफिया रिपोर्टों के अनुसार बुरहान वानी एक आतंकवादी और हिजबुल कमांडर थे, जो सोशल मीडिया के माध्यम से युवकों के बीच दरार खड़ा करने से महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभा रहे थे। उसके खिलाफ 15 प्राथमिकी थे। सरकार ने गौर किया है कि कश्मीर में मारे गए आतंकवादियां सोशल मीडिया में माहिर थे। हमें ये जानकारी भी मिला है कि आतंकी संगठनों में भारतीयों को भर्ती करने के लिए सामाजिक माध्यमों का उपयोग कर रहा है। महोदय, हमारे मंत्रालय कश्मीर के मुख्यमंत्री और सशस्त्र बलों से लगातार संपर्क में थी। सरकार ने उन्हें अतिरिक्त बल प्रयोग से नियंत्रित करने का अनुरोध किया। हमें ये भी कहा है कि केवल गैर खादा हथियारों का उपयोग करें। अब तक वहां 506 हिंसा के उदाहरण है। 1700 से अधिक नागरिक और 1740 जवान घायल हो गए। एक जवान और 40 नागरिक मारे गए। सरकार इस क्षेत्र में डॉक्टरों की एक टीम भी भेजी है। महोदय, हम भी इन घटनाओं में बहुमूल्य जीवन का नुकसान होने पर गहरी पीड़ा व्यक्त करते हैं।
Sri Keshav Iyer.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I really thank the chair for giving me an opportunity to call the attention of the Minister of Home Affairs to the new threats arising from the use of social media at a time when reports suggest that my own state is a victim of such a threat. Sir, as far as my state is concerned, it is a fully literate state. It is disheartening that terror recruitment is occurring here also. Sir, I want to know specifically from the minister, what steps have been taken to prevent terror recruitment using social media? Or are you waiting for a bigger terrorist strike or recruitment to take action?
Sri Daksh Shantalia.
Honorable Speaker, sir, may I draw the attention of the Honorable Home Affairs Minister to the problem of radicalization of youth through internet from various states across the country. There are numerous cases of missing people all over the country. Some of these missing people have surfaced in Middle Eastern countries. Is the government know anything about the matter? Is the government know where these missing people are? Whether they have joined any terrorist organizations? The responsible minister must give a very clear answer in this house.
Srimati Niharika Goyal.
Mr. Speaker, sir, may I draw the attention of the Honorable Minister to the fact that there have been complaints in the past that the measures taken by the government to curb terrorism has resulted in infringing the fundamental rights of citizens. how will the government ensure that the fundamental rights of citizens are not curtailed if the government decides to control and monitor social media?
Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, please.
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, युवकों की कटारता का बहुत कुछ उदाहरण दी गई, लेकिन केरल से 19 लोग लापता हैं, जिसमें एक दंपति और उनके 2 साल के बच्चा भी मौजूद है। हमें एक सबूत मिला है कि वे मध्य पूर्व के लिए कूद गया है। केरल पुलिस ने इस सिलसिले में 9 मामले दर्ज किए हैं और हमें एक जानकारी मिलेगी कि लापता व्यक्तियां इस्लामिक स्टेट में शामिल हैं। इसमें कोई शक नहीं, इस्लामिक स्टेट भारत के दरवाजे तक पहुंच गया है। महोदय, मैं आपके द्वारा सदन को यह आश्वासन देती हूँ, हमारे सरकार ने राज्य सरकारों और विभिन्न देशों के सहयोग से सामाजिक माध्यमों का उपयोग आतंकवादी को समाप्त कर दिया जाएगा। इस मुकाबले पर विभिन्न कार्यक्रम हमारे सरकार द्वारा उठाया जा रहा है, जैसे कि फील्ड सेवा और रिसोर्सेज, आमतौर ऑनलाइन लोगों के कौवा से ऑनलाइन पोर्टलों पुलिस ऑनलाइन का मुकाबला करने के लिए प्रभावी उपकरण हो सकता है। हमारा मंत्रालय को दृढ़ विश्वास है कि प्रस्तावित राष्ट्रीय साइबर सहयोग केंद्र इस मुकाबले पर एक महत्वपूर्ण कदम है, जिसको ऑनलाइन प्रचारों तथा विज्ञापनों पर प्रतिबद्ध लगाया जा सकता है। तीसरा कदम यह है कि जिहाद के खिलाफ मुकाबला करने के लिए सोशल मीडिया पर उलमा की तरह आध्यात्मिक धार्मिक नेताओं का प्रभाव फैला देना। लेकिन मंत्रालय के अधिकारियों ने कहा है कि यह विषय इतना संवेदनशील है, जो राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा पर प्रभावित करेगा, जो पूरी जानकारी सदन के समक्ष खुलासा नहीं किया जा सकता। यह सच है कि इस्लामिक स्टेट ऑफ इराक और सीरिया और इस्लामिक स्टेट ऑफ इराक और लवान एक संगठित लक्ष्य के रूप में भारत पर विचार कर रही है, लेकिन हमारी एजेंसियां इन खतरों को निपटने के लिए काफी प्रभावी कर रहा है। राष्ट्रीय जांच एजेंसी और केरला, तमिलनाडु, मध्य प्रदेश और तेलंगाना के पुलिस विभाग इस्लामिक स्टेट के साथ युवाओं को कथित संबंधों की जांच करने के लिए मामले दर्ज किए हैं और अब तक 56 लोगों को गिरफ्तार किया है। भारत विभिन्नता में एकता का मूल मंत्र में विश्वास करती है। विभिन्न जाति धर्म के लोगों हम खुशी से अपना जीवन व्यतीत करते हैं। किसी भी आतंकवादी संगठनों का जड़े हम जमने नहीं देंगे। मैं दोहराना चाहता हूं, भारतीय जनमानस में आतंकवाद का भय नहीं पनपने देंगे। महोदय, एक हार में पिरोई हुई मणियों के जैसी भारतीय अखंडता की एक हार को हम टूटना नहीं देंगे।
Thank you. Now the legislative business will be taken up. Honorable Minister of State, Law and Justice, to move the motion for the leave of the House to introduce the Uniform Civil Laws Bill 2016.
Honorable Speaker, Sir, I beg to move for the leave of the House to introduce the bill, the Uniform Civil Laws Bill 2016.
The question is that leave be granted to the Minister of State, Law and Justice to introduce the Uniform Civil Laws Bill 2016. Those in favor will please say aye. Aye. Those against will please say no. No. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Minister to introduce the bill.
Honorable Speaker, Sir, I introduce the bill, the Uniform Civil Laws Bill 2016.
Now the House will take up for consideration the Constitution 123rd Amendment Bill 2016 for reservation of seats for women in legislative bodies. Honorable Minister of Law and Justice, Sri Siddharth Suryavanshi, please.
Mr. Speaker, sir. I beg to move the Constitution 123rd Amendment Bill 2016 for the reservation of seats for women in legislative bodies. Statistical records show that there has been only a marginal increase in the number of women candidates fielded during elections in the last 2 decades. At the state level, their membership in legislatures is abysmally low, lower than their number in the parliament. Illiteracy, women's triple burden, patriarchal values, lack of access and control over income and other resources, restrictions to public spaces, and insensitive legal systems continue to impair women's effective participation in decision-making process. The lack of representation of women in decision-making positions results in women's agenda not getting reflected or addressed in policies and programs. Lack of critical number of women elected representatives impedes them from negotiating for important portfolios such as defense, finance, home affairs, which are generally termed as the key portfolios of the nation and traditionally controlled by men like me. Women politicians point out that even within the political party, no matter opposition or ruling, even within the political party, women are rarely found in leadership positions. In fact, women candidates are fielded from losing constituencies where the party does not want to waste a male candidate. Almost all the provisions contained in the UN Conventions on the elimination of all forms of discrimination against women are also found in the great Indian Constitution, and I'm proud of it. The Indian Constitution guarantees equal political status and equal political rights to women, including the right to vote. Also, there is scope for positive discrimination in their favor, as it is evident in Article 15(3) of the Indian Constitution. Article 14 provides equality before law. Article 51A, subdivision E, refers to the fundamental duty of the citizens to renounce practices that are derogatory to the dignity of women. Therefore, it is proposed to enact a comprehensive legislation provided for the reservation of seats for women in legislative bodies. I would like to read out the important provisions of this bill. 1/4 of the total number of seats filled by direct elections in the House of the People and in the legislative assemblies of the states shall be reserved for women, which includes 1/2 of seats reserved for women belonging to scheduled castes or scheduled tribes from among the seats reserved for SCs and STs under the clause 1 of Article 332 of the Great Indian Constitution. If the number of seats reserved for the scheduled caste or scheduled tribes were less than 2 in any state, no reservation for women belonging to scheduled caste or scheduled tribes will be provided for in that state. No reservation of seats in Lok Sabha for women from a state having less than 2 seats in the Lok Sabha. The seats are to be reserved for women by rotation in the manner as laid down by the law of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am very well confident that all the honorable members of this House would wholeheartedly welcome this bill and through it help to achieve the aforementioned objectives. With these words, I now move on. The Constitution 123rd Amendment Bill 2016 for the reservation of seats for women in legislative bodies taken into consideration. Thank you.
Motion moved. The Constitution 123rd Amendment Bill 2016 for reservation of seats for women in legislative bodies be taken into consideration. Honorable Member Ms. Ankita Chand, please.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I rise to support this bill. Sir, we speak for gender equality. What is wrong in giving them equal representation in Parliament? Half of the population of India is women. It should also be reflected in the Parliament. If women had got more participation in these decision-making bodies, it will help them to escape the walls of discrimination and abuse. Sir, we do not need nearly 25% reservation. We need to be on a par with men. Lack of space for participation in these political bodies has not only resulted in the presence of women in meager number, but also has resulted in the neglect of their issues and experience in policy making. By supporting this bill, we are not only saying about the empowerment of women, but also about the overall development of our country. Sir, I conclude by stating that I support this women reservation bill. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next, Honorable Member Srimati Sonakshi Kapoor, please.
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय जी, मैं कहना चाहती हूँ प्राचीन काल से महिलाओं को भारत के उत्पीड़न और दान का सामना करना पड़ता था, लेकिन कालाधार में इसमें बदलाव आए हैं। फिर भी कुछ देश में महिलाओं अभी भी पीछे पड़ा है। हमारे सामाजिक संस्कार भी ऐसे हैं जिसमें महिलाओं को आगे बढ़ने के लिए कोई अवसर नहीं दिया है। हर क्षेत्र में उनका दान